this song for Ray 20 years ago with Craig Satari. Everybody do me a favor, come forward right now. We're going to make this a special one for the last song. Craig's going to sing it with us. And the song is a tribute to Don't Forget the Struggle, Don't Forget the Streets. It's called We Won't Forget. Let's do this, New York. This is it. Let's go. You will now run for the sun. One of the few will let you win. The waste down till one was out. You should have soul wanted to found. You will not run and it all run and it also we won't forget a thing. You don't forget. Whoa, yeah. Let's go. Never stop the struggle. You came from the street. Your ritual wins until our time. You are the right. We looked in the mirror, saw you had to pray. From the east side, skinning you, scramble. You're in our run, and in our mind, and in our soul. We won't forget a thing. Whoa, yeah! Let's do this shit for Ray Base, New York City. Hold down in bed. Shit, yo! Young and old, it's still the same. Eternal youth, we shine the flame. We won't get back, you know we won't get back. The battle's on, so let's begin. Let's begin. Let's go, you know it. Sing it for Ray. You in all right, and in all right, and in all song. We want more death. We want more death. We want more death. Let's wait. One more death. Thanks for coming out. We were shut down. Woo! I fucking love you in New York City. Thank you. Rest in peace, Ray. I love you.
What's happening? Greetings, everyone around the world. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Your Core, Hardcore Fan Page, and Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards. Greetings to everyone in Germany, in the UK, in France. Greetings to all the Scondottos around the world that are watching the show today. I know there's probably like 300 Scondottos watching the show today. What's up, Lenny in Queens? What's going on, brother? Haven't seen you in a minute. Upstate Rick, what's up, brother? Looking forward to doing the People's Show and having you come on. Yes, I am back in Florida. How's Arnie? I will tell you how Arnie's doing. Arnie Stone's coming on the show today to say hi to everybody and give us a couple of words. So get ready. Arnie Stone's coming on the show today. So we got a great show lined up with some great guests. We also have the world premiere of No Redeeming Social Value Rap Bones video. And of course, Rap Bones will be on. And we have Dean Miller from No Redeeming Social Value coming on as well. Sid the Kid watching from the dentist office. Another personal hell. Listen, Sid, get your teeth fixed, bro. Ramp up your game. Help me help you, okay? Get your teeth fixed. We want you to look your best on the show. That's right. Arnie's coming on the show. We are excited. What's up? What's happening, Chucky? How are you, buddy? Hope all's yes. This is true. Yeah. Are you reading all this, Dad? Yeah. So there you go. Hey, let's talk about real quick. I want to keep it popping. Talk about some upcoming shows. This Sunday, super excited about this Sunday show. We have Monty Melnick the road manager of the Ramones for many years, coming on the show. This show is going to be rich in New York City and punk folklore. Monty's a great guy, and this is gonna be a lot of fun. So this Sunday is Monty Melnick, so we can ask him all kinds of cool questions and really get down to business, with the Ramones. He was there for everything from the beginning. He grew up with these guys, so that should be really cool. Also, a week from today is the People's Show. Sunday, October. Is that a week from today? Or is it, hold on. Or is it the Ezak episode? Oh, no, Ezak's up first. I'm sorry. Then, a week from today, here we go. It's the return of Danny Diablo. Always a good time, always a lot of laughs. We got Ezak coming back on the show. And then is the People's episode starring you. There you go. Also, special guests on the People's episode, the People's Choice episode, will be the band Reaching Out, some teenagers that just put a band together. There's some A7 alumni, so we're excited to get them on the show and give some of the new generation a little shine while we are at it. Then after that, we have Dino from Fear Factory, Divine Heresy, and Assassino. So Dino, our old friend, coming on. Yeah. Ezak, a.k.a. the Heat Miser. Okay. There you go. What's up, Big Rob? Hope you're well. And we'll talk about the rest of the shows later. In the meantime, let's bring on Steven Messina, Hardcore Shutterbug. Let's do photo of the day. What's up?
What's going on?
You're going on, bro. Get your shoes and socks on.
Help me help you.
Help me help you.
That you need to make a business card at that. I love it.
Help me. Like Luke Cage in the Marvel Comics, hero for hire.
That's it.
Drew Stone, help me help you.
Oh man.
Hey, let's jump right into
photo
of the day. Let's see what we got here. If anybody knows what this is. Why am I not seeing them?
Uh-oh.
Did Ezak do something to them? Hold on a second. I see what I did. Hold on.
That's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. That's okay. All right. Photo of the day. I like this one. All right, here we go. Photo of the day. What do you got? What is it? Boom. Photo of the day. Anybody? Let's hear it. What do you got out there, people? Party people. Let's see. Any comments? Let's give it a minute. There's a little bit of lag time. Whoever he's playing a big hollow body guitar. You sent me a couple of these, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
loves you, yeah. And with a love like that. Okay, here we go. I love it. Jesse Malin. I love it. I love, no matter what we put up, somebody always goes, Jesse Malin? Let me.
I see it a little bit. I know what he's saying.
Here you go. Here's another one from that batch right here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, this hey. Benefit for Sid's teeth. Aerosmith. Good one, Gregory. Aerosmith. Yes. This is a band called More Scondottos. This is the More Scondottos band. This is like brother number 37, sister number 70, and all right, here we go. Oh, Gretsch 6120 or anniversary. All right. No idea again. All right, here we go. Is this the Tesla? Oh, you know what? That's a pretty good guess looking at the singer here, right?
I guess.
I could see that.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Spinal Tap.
Man.
All right, that's kind of funny. Steel Panther.
Boy.
Brian Johnson, Black Crowes tribute band, Scondotto core forever. Absolutely. All right, here we go. Is it New York Dolls? New York Dolls members. Dolls. Gina B says New York Dolls. Ryan from Egg says New York Dolls. I tend to think. Stefan says David Johansen. I did personal security for him for years. So knowing what I know about this crew, the left looks, I would believe, is Sylvain.
Oh yeah.
In the middle is Buster Poindexter, aka David Johansen.
Absolutely.
And the guy on the right, well, I know it's not Johnny Thunders. This must be from the when the Dolls started playing again. I'm not sure who they had playing guitar for them. Was it one of the guys from Hanoi Rocks?
Well, okay. You're there, but you're almost there.
Okay, take me to the promised land.
All right, so let's just do this. This is the New York Dolls. They had freshly reunited not long before this, and Arthur Killer Kane only played a few shows, and then he died. And then they got Sammy Yaffa from Hanoi Rocks, replaced him on bass guitar. And he's in there. He's in the other picture. He's in the background somewhere. But on guitar is a guy named Steve Conti, who is, he is like, you know what? When they said Jesse Malin, he's kind of like, he's cut from the same cloth as Jesse. A phenomenal singer, songwriter, musician, and perfect fit for the Dolls. He also plays with Michael Monroe from Hanoi Rocks as well. And I've seen him, and he has great solo stuff. And this was taken in 2007, in fact, at a place called the IMAC Theater that used to be in Huntington. And there's Sammy Yaffa. And the IMAC Theater was a small little theater that was eventually...
That's Sammy Yaffa playing bass there?
Yeah, that's Sammy in the background there.
With the hat on?
Yep.
And the drummer, if I remember correctly, wasn't the drummer in the Libertines?
I think you're right. I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
And this was 2007, and this place was torn down and rebuilt much bigger. It became a place called the Paramount that's in Huntington now.
Yes.
But it used to be a little tiny place called the IMAC Theater. And they did this show. They did the Little Stevens Garage Fest at Randall's Island. And they came back strong. In fact, they came back. The album they put out at the time was really, really good. And, I mean, you go back into New York music history, the Dolls influenced so many people. I mean, there's no Kiss without the New York Dolls. There's so many bands like that they just...
Not Kiss. Oh, my God. Yeah. There would be no Kiss?
What
would we all do if there was no Kiss?
Well, between Alice Cooper and the New York Dolls, they're both responsible, I think, for making Kiss. Right. But the Dolls, I mean, I love those two first Dolls records. And, but Steve Conti he's a tremendous musician. And if anyone hasn't heard him, he's done some great stuff. And like I said, he's kind of like him and Jesse. I see them I could see them as like kind of musical brothers, and but a great stuff.
There's a lot of Jesse Malins out there, but there's only one.
Oh yeah,
Jesse Malin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And we couldn't do a lot of this stuff without him. Thank God, thank God for him.
For sure. Hey man. Cool.
But listen, it's I should have worn my Rat Bones shirt today. But
it is a Rat Bones kind of day,
It's a Rat Bones kind of day. Now I thought that the banks would be closed today, and we would have kids to get off from school.
Melody Carr says, "Hi everyone, love this show. My uncle owned the iMac in Huntington."
Oh, get out of here! Look at that.
Hi Melody. Well, welcome to the show, and thank you, Melody.
So maybe he was at the show.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yep. All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you. See everybody in the pit. I'm going to jump into the crowd.
I'll see you in a bit.
Later.
That's right. Stephen Messina, Hardcore Shutterbug. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Texas Silver Rush, Texas, Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core Hardcore fan page. Your Core fan page is a digital platform aimed at capturing hardcore punk bands in real time and get up-to-date information onto what they're doing now. Also, the fan page is focused on promoting and supporting bands, the venues, merchandise through the Instagram app on Your Core fan page. There you go. Your Core fan page. The page is dope. It's on Facebook. Go check it out. Also, the Organic Grill is a vegan restaurant located in the East Village of New York City at 123. Hold on. First Avenue. Featured in New York Magazine, the New York Times, and Veg News, their dishes have won numerous awards, including Best Veggie Burger. They make their own cheeses, sausages, and burger patties, and every dish on the menu could be made gluten-free. I know you want to hear it. This year, they are celebrating their 20th anniversary, and they're all about having a great time while enjoying amazing, clean food. After 3 months of being closed and now open for deliveries, get in touch with them and order some great food at www.theorganicgrill.com. That said, while we're at it, let me see. For all you glutards, what are you, a glutard? Hey, Josh, is that you, man? Hanging out as long as hey, Josh from Chain Reaction Records is here. Hold on. Let me get my rap together. Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards is located in Lakewood, Colorado. It's the Rocky Mountain headquarters for all things punk, hardcore, and metal. Established in 2014, they have the largest selection of records, CDs, shirts, stickers, patches, and accessories between Chicago and Los Angeles. From the pit to the ditch, they've got your back. Get in touch with them at www.chainreactionrecords.com. Josh, I want to thank you a million for being a sponsor of the show, and you got to come on real soon. That said, by popular demand, here we are. And by the way, you can figure by now I'm down in Florida. And if I'm down in Florida, I got to be with Arnie Stone. So by popular demand, I want to bring on, here we go, Arnie Stone. What's up, Pop?
How you doing? Hello to everybody out there.
Yep.
By popular demand of 3, I'm back. What's happening, Drew?
Good. You tell us what's going on in the world. What's your take on the show? And everybody's been asking about you. How you doing?
I'm the biggest fan of the show out there, and as you know, I live by the hardcore. By the hardcore, even though I'm not a hardcore musician or never were, but I'll share with some people some life experiences maybe they'll find valuable. Drew and his brother Evan also are, and I am the executive producer of a documentary film we're doing. So I was in the film business for 46 years and retired now for 20, but this is the comeback. Like, it's never over till it's over. And even then, it's never over. So in film terms, we did a trailer, which the trailer lasts 3.5 minutes. So I'll share some experience for 3.5 minutes, and then it's cut. So quickly, I was born in the South Bronx, and during the 1930s, which was the Depression, and there was a pandemic of sorts. There was tuberculosis going around. My mother developed tuberculosis and ended up in a hospital for 14 years. I ended up in an orphanage with my brother on the Lower East Side on Houston Street. I was 6, he was 3. And that was my upbringing. So from there, I got out when I was 13 years old to the Bronx to live with my grandmother. It was an apartment the rent was $18 a month. Very tiny. I slept on the couch. My brother slept on the floor, and my grandmother slept on the cot. And we were on, in those days, home relief. I went to work when I was 15, and delivered orders in the grocery store and the meat and the butcher shop and whoever, and then set pins at night. And basically, my education was in the pool room. It happened to be called the college pool room. I basically have very little formal education. I went to 10th grade and then got out. But, you know, no one ever said, do your homework. And when I got out of an orphanage, I was way behind anyway. But my experience in the pool room, I tell people that was it, where you learn who the good guys are, who the bad guys are. You learn how to protect yourself. We had everything down there. We had the gamblers, the bookies, the Shylocks, people that fixed the horse races, fixed sports. So this is who we hung out with. And I happened to be good with my hands as a kid, so not too many people messed with me. So I had a great teenage life. But I didn't know anybody who knew anybody who knew anybody to get a job doing anything. So quickly, I caddied in the summer. I was 23 years old. Most people are already off doing something. And it just so happened to be with a director from Columbia Pictures who said, what are you doing, kid? I said, I'm doing nothing. And in conversation, he said he was brought up in an orphanage in England. Boom. And that's hooked us up. I went down there and I walked in the door. I still get a chill now. It was love at first sight. I said, whoa. To walk into Columbia Pictures on Fifth Avenue to see a film being done, I convinced them to let me stay there for 6 months. I stayed there, got coffee, whatever. So I learned how, I was not an editor, but I learned how to do all the equipment cold. I took a job as a messenger in a film company, and as the story goes, the editor was sick. I edited the film. I just jumped in, do it. It's like hardcore. I don't know how to play it. I don't know how to do it. I just did it. So I edited the film, and guess what? They fired him. They hired me, and I went back to the Bronx. There was nobody in the Bronx who I knew who was making more money than me. That was it. So we were, so moving on quickly, because it's 3.5 minutes to the trailer, and Drew cut me off at 3.5. So I ended up, I opened up the door one day because they didn't let me into the studio to see directing. I peeked in and I saw someone directing, and his name, it was a director from Canada. I remember his name, Alan Cullimore. And I saw him directing and I said, oh my God, I can do this. I can do this. To me, it looked like just people hanging out in the pool room. I spotted right away who the good guys, the bad guys, who was in charge, who wasn't. I got all the dynamics down cold on that first look. And that was it. But a passion to do that, you could hit me with a baseball bat. It wasn't going to stop me, you know. So moving on quickly from there to another company, a young guy, I didn't know it. I was 23, he was 25. He already had an established studio. No one was under 30. So, well, we had, no one was over 30. Thank you, Drew. That was a good cut. So quickly, I co-directed a film that won an Academy Award. I co-produced, rather.
And who was in that film, Pop?
Mel Brooks. But I want to move on.
Listen, keep it moving, Pop.
I also was production supervisor, another film that was nominated for the Academy Award, won the British Academy Awards, blah, blah, blah. We won a lot of festivals, a lot of awards, and produced major motion picture. But like all things in the music business and film, it comes, you reach real high, it comes to an end, you got to pick yourself up and start again. And yeah, that's what he did. And you know, eventually I ended up directing a documentary on HBO special that's still on, and did a lot of films in a career spanning 46 years. And so what I'm saying to someone out there that if you have a passion for something, the passion overrides all the difficulties. It overrides everything. Just do it. Doesn't matter if you know how to do it even. You'll find out and learn how to do it. But I don't know, somehow in me, I had confidence in what I knew I could do and what I couldn't, and also in my basic instincts. I mean, I've done I also had a production company that I owned for 40 years. and basically did commercials and business films. I could say I've directed well over 1,000 films, one way or another, commercials, business films, documentaries. I produced for the stock exchange, the opening visit exhibit, a lot of things. I also was in the music business, had a music and record company. I had a lot of fun. We put out 15, but maybe one sold about 50,000, but I'd say I had a hell of a good time. And I didn't know anything about music. I wasn't a musician. And I never had any schooling on how to be a director. I did it my way, within my own personality and how I felt. Well, so for those out there that are really have to reinvent themselves or are in a hard time, if something comes up that you have a passion for, now's the time. Give it a shot. You never know. And I hope that everybody out there is healthy, doing well. I know there's a lot of bad times, but maybe some thinking out of the box, some in your gut something that you never wanted to do. And now these kind of times, maybe it's an opportunity to try it. I know that this is how I've lived my life. And the only thing I can say to somebody else is be true to yourself. Work within your own personality so you don't have to be something that you're not. People will accept you for who you are, provided you have a passion for what you're doing. So stay well, everybody. I love you all, and see you later. Was
Thanks,
that 3.5 through?
That was a good 3.5 minutes, Pop.
Okay.
I'll see you for dinner in a bit. I love you.
Later. Catch you later.
Well, there you go, huh? No joke. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by the Scondottos, New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core fan page. Wow. Words of wisdom from Arnie Stone. I hope you all enjoyed that. I saw a couple people pop their heads in. I saw you out there, ditto. I hope you're well out in California. Miss you. Jay Fury, Fury of 5, what's up, brother? Yeah, that was good stuff, man. You know, my dad's a big New York hardcore fan. He really is. Mike DeJean, what's up, brother? Hope you're well. Joe James. You know what? You know, like when my dad comes on, he brings out all the lurkers. All the lurkers come out when my dad comes on the show, you know? Mr. Stone is a hero. He's my hero, that's for sure. That's for damn sure. Hey, let's bring our guest on for today. Today's guest is an American vocalist and songwriter hailing from Brooklyn, New York. He comes from a family with New York hardcore in its blood, including his brothers Mike and Joe. He is best known for his work with the band Shutdown. Please welcome Kings County represent, Mr. Mark Scondotto. What's up, bro?
Drew? How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me on. Dude, your dad is an absolute legend. That was awesome.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, you know, he's great. I gotta do a show. I gotta get him on and so we can really talk about you know, some of the stuff he's done, you know, like the stuff with Mel Brooks and you know, the stuff he did with Muhammad Ali, and also he had a record label, and so that's real interesting. But anyway, let's talk about the world of Scondotto. Thanks for coming on the show. Appreciate it.
Having me, yep.
What was happening when the zombie apocalypse hit? Did you guys shut down, like have shows? Bring us up to date with that.
Yeah, we actually 2020 was going to be a great year for us. Unfortunately, of course, things went sour with you know, the zombie apocalypse. But we had plans. Actually, next week we were supposed to go to Europe. Shout out to MAD. They were booking a tour for us. Marco, really great guy, booked a tour for us. We were hitting like 7 countries, 8 shows in 9 days. We were leaving October 5th, and we got the call. Obviously, I knew it wasn't going to happen, probably closer as we got closer to the summer, but that's already been rebooked. So we were about to go to Europe next week. And then, of course, we were going to do B&B Bowl. Unfortunately, that got put on delay. So hopefully next May, things are back to normal, God willing, and that'll come back. And we're wrapping up now 25 years since we started. So we were trying to do a lot of stuff for next year, looking into doing different countries and actually looking into even putting out a new record, talking to a few labels as we speak, which is kind of cool for me to say. So
cool. So basically, they sort of took your tour that was about to start and just moved it 1 year down the line, right?
Yeah, they gave us the option. They asked us, do you want us to book it in February? We weren't too comfortable with that, feeling like it would be delayed again. Then they said, we were talking about going for the summer because, as you know, in Europe, you go to the summer, you hit the festivals and things like that. And just as a band, we wanted to, we got together, we decided to use this time to try to write some new music and figure out plans for next year. Because really, I mean, at some point in the summer, we realized everything was done for this year. So now it's all about 2021, hopefully. New music, touring Europe, hopefully some East Coast dates, maybe some West Coast dates, really putting everything on the table.
That makes sense. So let's get into it a little bit. So, I've had Mike, your brother, on the show. We know, and I speak for our worldwide audience a little bit. We know a little bit about the Scondotto family, but so you're the youngest of the five Scondotto brothers?
Yep, there's five of us. Mike's actually the second youngest.
And there's no girls?
No girls. Our parents had five boys. All five of us. Yeah, I think I'm the youngest. There's a 17-year age difference between me and my oldest brother, Joe.
Stickman from Fury of Five told me years ago, he said, tough guys have boys. So I'm sort of assuming your dad must be a pretty tough guy if he's got five boys.
He was in the Army. So, I mean, make what you want. He was definitely, but, my dad was, I wouldn't have probably classified him as a tough guy, but he definitely kind of spoke softly and carried a big stick.
And New York hardcore really is runs in your family, man. But, between Mike and so Mike is the brother above you.
Right.
And then is that Joe above him?
Nope. So you actually said Joe. I think you meant to say John in the beginning. Okay. So John comes after Mike.
I see.
Mike is obviously in TLS, The Last Stand.
John sang for Lament, right?
John sang for Lament.
I got it. I'm sorry, John.
And then after John comes Kevin, of course. Kevin books tons of bands for the last 25 years. He's a promoter.
I like Kevin a lot. I've had some nice conversations with him at the door at Blackthorn. He's a real music lover and a real knowledgeable, great guy.
Definitely. And then comes Joe, the one that lives in Delray, who's, funny enough, I'm probably closest with now. He moved to Florida in the 90s when, me and Mike and John were going to hardcore shows in New York City. My oldest brother moved to Florida. He was the first one down here. And I kind of followed suit, a decade later. But Joe is the oldest and I'm the youngest of five.
Yeah, and your brother that lives in Delray is literally
blocks away from you.
Hold on.
That's my son. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my son, Carmelo, commenting right now.
But wait a second. Here we go. Right out my window here. Here goes the view. Here's the view out the window here. And your brother is pretty much within eye shot, right over the ridge there,
Literally, I think that's his building right over there.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So hold on, let me switch back.
Beautiful Delray Beach.
Beautiful Delray Beach. From Manhattan to Delray Beach and everywhere in between. It's the Drew Stone Worldwide Tour. So yeah. All right, let's jump into so you started going to shows very young. I mean, were you sort of looking at your older brothers who were already kind of into it, and how is that? I assume that's what kind of brought you into the scene. And tell us how young you were when you started going to shows.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy. So we grew up in Sheepshead Bay, and our parents, worked like 3 jobs each to keep food on the table. Very modest house. We rented one of those 3-family houses. We rented the top 2 floors, and we all slept in the same room. And why I tell you that is John slept behind me. It kind of looked like a barracks without, beds on top, and 4 beds in one little bedroom. I don't even know if it was a bedroom. It was actually an attic, and we all slept in it. We called it the tower room. And, John slept behind me. Mike slept to the right of me. Kevin slept behind Mike, and Joe had his own little room, which literally was a closet turned into a room. And Joe is like 6'2" and could barely get in there. But this is how we grew up. And Mike and John, I can remember when I was 7, 8 years old, Mike and John had posters all over the wall. One of the ones that I always remember is the 2 New York hardcore comps, The Way It Is and Where the Wild Things Are. And John had those posters right behind my head. Right, every day I'd wake up and I'd see those posters. And of course it intrigued me. Now, right next to that was a record player. And my brothers were avid record collectors. Mike pretty much got us all into the music. And Mike and John collected 7 inches and records and pretty much had every classic hardcore LP known to man. So when they would go to shows in like 88, 89, 90, I was just a kid. I was, 9, 10, 11 years old. They would sneak off and I would go upstairs and I'd be by myself in that room. And lo and behold, I'd start playing those records. And I can remember playing Sick of It All. I can remember playing Chromags. And wow. I remember Mike coming home one day and I think it was the Sick of It All record was scratched. And he was like baffled, like, how the hell did this record get scratched? Like, I'm going to kill somebody. What the hell? No, Mark doesn't listen to hardcore. And I think I fessed up to Mike that day and Mike started getting me into it. I remember Mike was like the hardcore historian. Like he gave me a token entry record and he said,
he still is. He still is quite a bit,
Yeah, Mike's the best. And, he started with a token entry record. I remember I was really into skateboarding, 12 years old, listening to Jaybird. And then Mike took me to my first show when I was just turned 13 in 1993 at L'Amour's. And I saw Confusion play with Madball and 25 to Life and Crown of Thorns. It was a pretty wild, dangerous show at that time. And I absolutely had the time of my life. I remember my brothers put a bandana on me to try to make me look all hard, although I was about 5'2" and there was nothing hard about me.
Tried to make you look all hard. I like
that. Yeah.
Not just hard, but all hard.
And I can remember like getting there and meeting, skinheads that they were friends with and meeting, and the whole thing was like a culture shock for me. Mm-hmm. And meeting their friends and everybody gave me a hug. Most of them picked me up and were like, holy cow, look at this little kid at a show. They snuck me into the show because they wouldn't let you into L'Amour's if you weren't 16.
Right.
And then the first song of Confusion, of course, everybody was trying to get me to stage dive. So there's a video somewhere of me stage diving at that show, at my first show. And then lo and behold, that was the summer of 93. I was going into high school. And just from there, man, the passion just grew and grew and grew. I mean, from the second I started high school, I couldn't stop listening. The obsession started.
Oh, you too? So it's funny because people are chiming in, like our friend Joe James from Silver Tomb, and I was there. And,
Joe,
and Brian, I was at that show. So,
Yeah, Joe James is actually, what's up, Joe? Joe is, one of my closest friends from Brooklyn. When I left,
Confusion, Neglect, 25 to Life, Madball, is that right?
That was it. That was the show. Yeah, that was.
And let me just say, Confusion had a singer, a crippled singer. I don't know if that's
Mike Freed. Mike Freed.
Etiquette, but he was on crutches, crippled singer on crutches, Correct. And he was a fucking badass. Yo, they were hard, yo.
Oh, hell yeah. Confusion was really hard. I mean, there's bands that I hear now that I hear, Dark Side and Confusion were like hand in hand. People like Richie O'Brien grew up in my house. Saab grew up coming to my house. He was 15 years old coming to my house. My parents, they would hang out with Mike and John in the towel room listening to hardcore records. And I was a little kid. I was 7 years behind Mike, just watching everybody and thinking it was the coolest thing. And I can remember not even a year after that, I started Shutdown. I got into high school, met some kids, Justin Brannon from Indecision, Councilman.
I was going to ask you about that. Justin Brannon was an original member who's been on the show. Councilman Brannon, who we're all a big fan of. It's nice when one of our own sort of is
for sure.
The system. Was an original member in Shutdown, right?
Yeah, he wasn't, when I met him, he was a sophomore. I was a freshman. We went to an all-boys Catholic high school. Tom from all the Indecision guys went there, but they had graduated the year I came in. Justin was just a sophomore at the time, though. I met him, and I told him he was doing Indecision. I said I wanted to do a youth crew style band. I was straight edge. I was really into like Youth of Today and Gorilla Biscuits and Judge and Side by Side. So Justin was down because Indecision was definitely not that type of band. They were doing a little more metallic stuff. And Justin said, listen, I can't be in the band, but I'll help you write a few songs. I'll jam with you guys. And a good friend of mine, Eddie McNamara, helped me at practice. And another guy, Anthony Vredos, who I went to high school with as well. So it was really just a bunch of guys in high school. But slowly after that, very shortly after that, Steve and me got together, maybe months later, who's our guitar player. And, you know, a couple different people played. Pete from No Redeeming Social Value, who used to play drums, actually played drums with us for a short period of time. But Jimmy, Steve, myself, and then Dion about a year later, like that's the same lineup. We've been that way for 25 years now.
And this, correct me if I'm wrong, but this, let me get this stuff out of the way. Is this the flyer for the first Shutdown show?
That was the very first Shutdown show.
And let me just interject. I love in this era, there were so many of these CBGBs and Lamar flyers, like last local hardcore show, you know, CBGB's the last matinee. I love how this one says, you know, the last local hardcore show. Meanwhile, there was probably 300 local hardcore shows after this, but this is it. This is December 10th, 1994.
Yep. December 10th, 1994. I was 14.
14.
Yeah, 14. And I could remember the show like it was yesterday. I had the time of my life. Naturally, my brother's friends and my friends were right up front, stage diving, going nuts, supporting us. And I think when you feel that energy and you're playing, it's just like, it is so addicting. I mean, how could you not love it? You know, and it's just, that was our first show though. Yeah. December of 94.
Yeah, listen, you know, and also for those that on the other side of the planet Earth, L'Amour's itself back then was quite an experience. I mean, not just inside the club, but getting to the club, you know, taking the subway, walking down those mean streets of Brooklyn. There was always a pallor of possible violence coming at you from any direction. I mean, those shows at L'Amour's back then were
violent.
They were violent. They were not for the faint of heart, man. You know?
No. And it's funny. I can remember I was straight edge, of course, I'm 14 years old. And there was, I'm not going to name his name, but one of my brother's friends who was a skinhead gave me a 40 ounce and thought it would be funny to have my brother see me holding the 40 ounce. And my brother, John, turned around and saw me holding the 40. And I'll never forget this. You know, my brother like dropped everything and like basically like charged at one of his friends and was like, "What are you, nuts?" And he was like, "Dude, I was only doing it to, you know, make you think he was drinking it. He would never drink it. You know, he's straight edge." And
of course, we have to have your brother chiming in. L'Amour's closed at the end of December 94. So and it reopened again in 99. So I guess this might have actually, for that time, been the last local hardcore show.
I think it was. It actually was the last local hardcore show. And the greatest thing about that is the mid 90s, I mean, to the late 90s was such a great time in Manhattan for hardcore that the transition kind of happened.
Yeah, for sure. And that said, let me get, this is a cool one. You know, don't want to forget any of the cool photos I did my homework digging up. So it didn't take you guys long to sort of get the ball rolling and record. This is the Shutdown demo, correct?
Correct. Yeah, we recorded that at Fastlane Studios.
Mike Parenta, right?
Mike Parenta. And, you know, I think, you know, we all put out like $50 each, if I remember. It wasn't too bad. And, you know, made all those copies and did it all on our own and, you know, distributed the tapes. And man, it was a great time, you know, really hands-on time in hardcore where, you know, you had to get your hands dirty, roll your sleeves up and just kind of go to every show and just promote the hell out of your music.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, I think, I mean, not to sort of take a sidestep here, but I think a lot of that is what appealed. You know, my dad, who was just on the show, is a big lover of New York hardcore, and I think it's that ethos, that DIY ethos of get up, get out, make it happen. You could do it yourself, is what my dad relates to, having grown up in an orphanage and sort of really, you know, made it into the film business on his own. You know, just do it yourself. So that and that was still. You know, in 1995, you know, that was still very predominant before the internet and before any of that stuff, you know?
Yeah, man, I can remember going with my friends to Bleecker Bob's and to Generation Records and putting flyers on the wall, on that wall of flyers. And that was how you promoted shows. And then the only other way was to go to a show with flyers, wait till the end of the show and hand them out when people were walking outside. But I would usually hand out free demos. Which actually in turn made me a lot of friends that I'm still friends with today from that demo I handed out.
Well, also, I mean, I'm just throwing this. I'm throwing this in up because it's a great Coney Island high flyer.
But
you know, the demo thing, back then there was a whole network of people that traded demos and kept in touch. My cousin Alan Dubin, who sings for Noah and Con 8, he sang for Old Lady Drivers that was on Earache. He was like a big tape trader, and I've even talked to Lars from Metallica about it. Those guys were big tape traders back then.
Oh yeah. I mean, that was the way it was back then. There was digital media. It was an analog era before digital hit.
Yep. Kevin Castle, what's up, bro? There you go.
Here's my other brother. Yeah, Coney Island High was great, by the way. Jimmy, I remember Steve Pass used to book shows for us. So Pass was somebody that always looked out for Shutdown when we were kids, and he pretty much put us on all these shows. He would call me, and I remember there was such a great vibe in there. Like Jimmy Gestapo would be DJing. I remember Sid the Kid was DJing there for a while.
Oh, Ryan Bland from Ake chiming in. I booked that Coney Island High show.
That's my boy. Ryan is my brother for life. I love Ryan. Love his band Ake. Old friend. We spend a lot of time on St. Mark's Place together.
Yeah. What? Hold on, Fahrenheit. Oh, here you go. Lenny from Crazy Eddie, formerly of Fahrenheit, says Fahrenheit gave away 1,500 demos. You just had to fucking put the work in. 1,500 demos. Wow.
Yeah, that's how you did it, man. What up, Lenny? That was, Fahrenheit, No Redeeming, Home 33. There was like an era of bands in New York hardcore. I feel like, 95 to 2000 maybe era. And that was like, this was our generation. We were like that next wave of bands.
Absolutely.
Inhuman, of course.
And I know you mentioned to me that your brother Michael, really has worked with you in the past in the studio, writing lyrics and on a lot of your stuff, right? He's sort of
he's like the consigliere. I don't know what you would call Mike. Mike is just the ultimate big brother. Mike has guided me into hardcore music. As long as I've been away, Mike's always, looking out for me in any way he can. It's just the way it is, man. I'm lucky to have all four of my brothers. Kevin actually managed Shutdown for a little period of time back in like 99, 2000, just when things got a little out of control. We were on tour like 10 months out of the year for probably 2 or 3 years straight.
Wow.
And Kevin, we needed somebody to watch over stuff because it began to be, for us, it was always fun, but it began to be more like, okay, now we actually have to save some of this money, and now we have to put this aside and maybe buy new instruments and figure this part out. And it just began to be a lot different than when, we were putting demos out.
Absolutely. One thing that comes up is your connection with Rabies. And there seems to be this sort of Rabies Warzone Shutdown connection. Tell us a little bit about what that's about, your connection with Ray and with Warzone, and how that came to be.
Sure. Ray was a super special guy for me specifically. He was more than a friend. I mean, he was a mentor. I can vividly remember the day I met him. I met him at a Pie Tasters show at the Wetlands. I was going to the show with other people. I wasn't really into the Pie Tasters, but just hanging out, going to shows. I think I had a Youth of Today hoodie on and a backpack with a bunch of hardcore pins on it. And I had that demo. I was handing him out, and I gave Ray a demo. He immediately pulled me aside. He was bouncing at the Wetlands. And Drew, I was telling you about this. Anybody that remembers the Wetlands can remember the ramp on the side where people loaded equipment in, but essentially that's where you snuck in if you needed to. So Ray was working that.
You hang out by that back door, by the door at the end of the ramp. Just hoping that Ray was going to pop the door open.
So he happened to be outside, and he pulled me aside. I stuck out like a sore thumb at a ska show, right? And we started talking music. He asked me how old I was. I said I was 15. He thought that was amazing. And he basically told me how the youth are what hardcore is all about. I remember him giving me a speech that day just about how important it is to support young bands. And he hadn't even heard the demo yet, but the second he heard the demo, he came home. He called my house the next day. We switched numbers, and my mom told me, and it's funny, I said this at the show a few years ago, but it's a true story. We had a rotary phone, and my mom said, "Mark, some man named Rabies is on the phone." And my brother Mike happened to be home, and Mike kind of dropped his jaw and was like, "Did you just say rabies?" And my mother said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure he said rabies." And Mike and me kind of looked at each other, kind of just like, oh my goodness. And I got on the phone with him, and he was just like the coolest, most down-to-earth guy in the history of the world. And he basically said to me, he said, "Look, I'm going to help get you guys wherever you want to go. You want to come do weekends with Warzone? We're going to book them for you. If you want to, play a show here and there, we're going to help you." He goes, "But my job is to help support you guys because you're the next generation." And, that's how the friendship started. We would talk 3 times a week. Every time I would go to shows, we'd hang out outside. At the time, Ray was with Leslie, and I would hang out with them, and he would literally sometimes introduce me to people as like his little kid, just because I was so short and young looking, and he just thought it was awesome that we were part of this next wave. So
absolutely,
that trickled into a bunch of shows with the business and Warzone. They did a world tour. They did Europe and America, and Ray got us on probably 4 or 5 Northeast dates, which had the time of my life with those guys. And from there, just many shows we did with Warzone, whether it was in Pennsylvania. The Wisdom and Chains guys, Richie Mancuso used to book a club in Stroudsburg. He booked a Warzone show with Shutdown and Warzone.
What was that? CC's?
No, CC's was in Music. We used to play there as well. Richie had a place, I think it was Q's and Quarters. Him and another guy were booking shows there. Mm-hmm. And we played there with Warzone. And traveling with Ray, hanging out with Ray in Manhattan outside of CB's is one thing. But when you get to hit the road with Ray and like talk to him on the side, in different states, it's like you see there's another side of him. And he's just such a good guy with a big heart, And it was actually at his funeral. I think his funeral was in Riverdale. That I actually remember going to his funeral. One of my best friends, Brian Shank, who a lot of people on here know, drove me to his funeral. And I remember going there, and I hadn't met Roger or Freddie or any of these guys yet. And I actually wound up meeting a lot of them at that specific moment. And, it was kind of like from there, even after Ray passed, all these guys began to kind of, look out for Shutdown in the way that Ray did, get us on shows, especially Jimmy Gestapo and Roger, big influences. So, from there it was Victory. We played the Rabies benefit, and that's kind of how we got on Victory, is through that benefit show.
Now, this comment here caught my eye. This is from Gabe. I first saw Shutdown in 1998 in Riverside, California, had the guys sign my Against the Odds CD and realized they were near my age. That inspired me to join my first band at 16.
That's awesome. That makes me so happy. Like that was really, anybody that saw us play back then knows, we caught a lot of shit, Drew. Like, honestly, there was a lot of people that felt we were too young. And now that I'm older, I'm like, what the fuck were those people thinking? I see bands now coming out, that are super young, like that Reaching Out band from New Jersey.
You know what? I was just about.
Or Gorilla Glue, and I look at these bands.
Those are my people, man. Those are my people.
And let me tell you, it's impressive. I love these kids. Like, I want to do anything. I sent Reaching Out a message. I said, you have my full support. Anything I can do to help you guys, I'm on board, because I really, now that I see these kids that are when I started, I really do. Like, I feel like it's my calling that any way I can help them, I want to help them, because it really is something special to catch this music that young.
Yeah. I know Steen is joking. Steen in Denmark, a big supporter of the show, and who's been on the show. And he says, well, I guess that rules me out if hardcore is all about the youth. Hardcore is all about everybody.
It's all about everybody, man.
It's about everybody. But, we try to bring the kids up to the best of our abilities. So, Steen, we're not going to leave you behind, Steen. Don't worry.
Ray was a big supporter of 7 Seconds, that Young Till I Die message, man. Ray lived it. So, I try to live my own message the same. And, it's a real thing, man. We're all doing this. Doesn't really, age is not just a number, man. It's just a number, because these kids that are coming up now, I can't believe, the 14, 15, I was doing it like with them. And I know the feeling they probably have. This is the most exciting thing in their world. And just try to keep encouraging them to keep going with it. And it's really cool to see the older guys, because a lot of these young bands are getting looked out for, like with you, with Gorilla Glue, or with Reaching Out, with a lot of the guys in Jersey. I see a lot of people sharing their stuff. That's what it's about, man.
Well, absolutely. That's what it's about. For the A7 shows that we started doing, and for this show, it's really about the combination of everyone. It's not just the young people. It's not just the older people. It's really blending everyone together in this community. And that's not to sound corny, but that's part of the success of the show, is that from around the world, some very young people, some older people, and we all sort of gather here under this umbrella. So that's one of the things that makes the situation really cool. And I've said this before, is that I think if this show or the A7 shows, or even when we do Antidote shows, like if it was Old Timers Day, I don't think I'd be interested. I think I'd lose interest very fast. But the fact that new, fresh, and vibrant people are come into this, that's what makes it Great.
Yeah, man, definitely. The new blood, you know, it's a combination of what makes hardcore special is the old heads and the new blood. I mean, really, because it genuinely is a music. We're a community. We're more than just a music to me. Like, this is a community of friends and people that we call family. I mean, there are bands. I mean, I talked to 10 people in bands today that some people I haven't talked to in years. And it's just like, it's as if we stopped touring yesterday. I mean, and that's the special part of hardcore, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Let me see what else, because you know we're gonna bring an old friend of yours on here, an old friend of ours.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna bring on Dean from No Redeeming Social Value, and we're gonna do the world premiere of the Rat Bones video. We're gonna bring Rat Bones on, and we'll talk about that a bit. But let me one quick question before we go. I know a couple of your records were produced. I know Against All Odds was produced by Jimmy G, and the record that I really know that brought you guys on my radar screen was Few and Far Between, which was produced by my good friend Roger Moret. And I think that's pretty great that you had such I hate to New York hardcore royalty produce your records. But how did those two quickly? How did Jimmy getting involved and Raj getting involved? How'd that happen?
Yeah, both great guys, two like huge influences and mentors to me. Love both of those guys so much. But Jimmy, real quick, we got signed to Victory, and a month after that rabies benefit that you just posted, and in continuation with the conversation of the older bands looking out for the younger bands. Once we got on Victory, we needed to go into the studio and record our first album, and it was like a month after the record contract. And all the New York hardcore guys set us up. Dave Stein, for example, handled the contract with Victory to make sure that we were getting treated fairly, which was like
New York hardcore lawyer.
Dave Stein's the best. Roger, I think, was the one that set us up with him, if I'm not mistaken. But Jimmy was asked. We did a compilation for a Japanese hardcore compilation that Jimmy produced with Steve Post. There was about 10 or 12 bands on it, and that's where we met Jimmy. We were straight edge, and Jimmy obviously is not straight edge. And we had the greatest time recording the song with him. So much to the point that when Tony Victory said, "Who do you guys want to help you with this album?" we said, "Man, it would be great if Jimmy could do it." And when we asked him, he was like all good to do it. He loved it. And I'll tell you, we had a great time. He brought in all the other New York hardcore guys while we were recording. Everybody hung out. It was like one big party. The Warzone guys, Craig Sitari hung out every day, and it was a great time. He taught us a lot about recording. We were 18, had no idea what we were doing, wrote songs in the studio. We wrote 6 of those songs in the studio while we were there.
Wow.
And wrote the lyrics. My brother Mike was there writing lyrics with me. It was kind of stressful, but at the end of the day, it was a lot of fun. It was a really raw sounding record. We weren't, we felt we could improve upon it, but we felt like the energy and the passion was there. And for me, the most special part about that record was writing that song for Ray, We Won't Forget. And I can remember writing it with my brother Mike and the Warzone guys. And it was just like, it was just very special to be in the studio with Jimmy writing that song. And he would tell us stories about Ray. And then with Roger, really quick, he produced the second record. Roger completely took Shutdown under his wing around 1999. Took us to Europe for 5 weeks, took us around the United States for 5 weeks. We played almost every state in the country with Agnostic Front as an opener. The Anti-Heroes were on that tour too. It was a great tour. We went to Europe with Ignite, Agnostic Front, The Forgotten, Stamping Ground, Discipline, unbelievable tour. And Roger then produced our record in New Jersey at Big Blue Meanie Studios. Shout out to Aaron Farley and Tim and all those people. We stayed there. Roger would, I would sleep at Roger's apartment so we wouldn't go home, because we spent like 2 weeks straight in the studio. And it's funny because his daughter's a grown up now. I can remember that his daughter was like maybe 10 at that time, maybe younger. And he would just go, "Hey, you fit in her bed. Go sleep. She's not here. She won't be here till next week. You can stay in her room. Just don't make it messy. Clean up, And I would stay there. And I remember like the next day we'd be right back in the studio. And Roger had a big, big influence on me, taught this band the ropes to what every day in Europe, just this is where you guys got to be. This is what you got to do. He showed us, really taught us about kind of how to be a professional band, to be honest with you.
It helps. It helps to be around something like that, someone like Roger, or, yeah.
So he was just a big influence. And, every time Agnostic Front plays Miami, I'm the first one there. And, I call Roger from time to time. I text him. He's just a great guy. The more Agnostic Front, I just see them get their fair shine, which they deserve, like the documentary and all this stuff. It just, it warms my heart because I love those guys so much. I talk to my kids about it all the time.
What's the name of the place in Miami? Churchill's? Is that
Churchill's. Everybody. Yep. There's big controversy right now going on. There's two different owners saying one took control of the Facebook page, saying that the other one's trying to sell it, but it's still there. It's basically the CB's of Miami. It's a shithole, but it's a shithole with a lot of heart and a lot of passion, and it's a great place.
I saw at Churchill's. I saw Black Flag play Churchill's, many years ago, and during their set, they're playing. This is like not early Black Flag. Later on, when they were like,
right.
Like, I don't know, 83, 84. I don't know when Black Flag broke up the first time, 84, 85. Henry Rollins took off his socks and rang it out over a glass. I saw him as they were playing. He rang it out, filled up like this much of the glass, and then drank it.
He is a strange dude. We did Warped Tour with Rollins.
I'll never listen. Traumatized, bro. It's I could deal with people rolling around in glass and cutting themselves, but that fucked me up.
Let me tell you, we did Warped Tour at Rollins Band, and we had never met him. We were like excited to be doing some dates with them. Right. And first day we got there, we did like the last leg of it. And the first day we got there, I think the first show was in Buffalo because we did like that last week of it in August. And he's sitting there right before Rollins Band goes on. We were all excited to watch Rollins Band, from behind the stage. And, he's sitting there like, where's Henry? And he's back right behind the stage. Dion will remember this. He was bench pressing like 250, 300 pounds, breathing heavy, going like he looked like an adrenaline rush, and nobody was allowed to go near him. He had like people surrounding him so nobody would mess with him. And he went right off the bench press thing and just like took a deep breath and just like basically ran on stage and started performing. And it was just like such a like intimidating thing for a kid to see.
Hey, Joe James says he did a sound check at Churchill's with Agnostic Front. He hit a chord on his guitar and the ceiling collapsed over the bar and knocked the dude out cold.
That's awesome.
That's crazy. Listen, that said, I'm not Henry Rollins has always been, my interactions with him have always been very nice. And so I'm just saying he had some strange
fucking punk rock. That's for sure.
For sure. Hey, hang with me. I'm going to shout out our sponsors a little bit, and then we'll come back with Dean and Rat Bones, and we'll premiere the Rat Bones video. Okay.
Sweet, man.
Thank you. All right. Here we go, boys and girls. Hope you're enjoying yourself. Hope you're enjoying yourselves. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, Organic Grill, Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core Hardcore fan page. The Texas Silver Rush is a jewelry design firm and boutique store located in the birthplace of the Texas country music scene in Fredericksburg, Texas. Owned by Vinny Stigma's cousin, Joe Ramini. They specialize in working with musicians in all music genres to create unique one-off pieces, as well as to style them for stage, album covers, promo, photos, and social media exposure. Their client list includes Rock and Roll Hall of Famers Greg Rollet, Ringo Starr, and of course, the mighty Agnostic Front. During this current pandemic, all information and online sales are being taken at their Facebook and Instagram page, and of course, www.thetexassilverrush.com. Also, New York Hardcore Comics opened back in 2013 when lifelong friends Debo the Pro and Lee Fairley combined their collections and obsessions for comic books, punk rock, toys, statues, magic, the gathering, and all things horror. The store is located at 117 Main Street in Dobbs Ferry, New York. If you want to support them during this pandemic, please contact them via email at newyorkhardcorecomics@gmail.com. Those are our great sponsors. Support them. New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, The Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core Hardcore fan page on Facebook. That said, what else? Is everybody okay in there? Seems like it. Hey, it's like I went to a fight and a hockey game broke out. I went to a chat room and a live streaming show broke out. I also want to mention the Patreon page. Patreon page is what makes this show tick. What makes us tick? Your support is much appreciated. That's what makes this show happen. That's how I can spend hours and hours doing my homework for the show. There's the Patreon website. Please come on board. There's a $2 tier, a $5 tier, a $10 tier. I just posted a private Patreon show with Chaka from Burn. On the $10 tier, we're getting ready to do the Drew Stone Cinematic and Music Walking Tour. I'm releasing all kinds of never-before-seen footage. Just released some Biohazard stuff, some Marauder stuff, some Furia 5 stuff. So please, don't be a lurker. Come in from the cold. You're welcome here. Join us. Come on to the Patreon page. Also, I've learned that it's good to put the PayPal. That's the PayPal address. Apparently, there's a lot of people out there that can't wrap their head around the statistical density and conceptual continuity of the Patreon page. There's a PayPal address there. It's stone4124@aol.com. If you'd like to contribute to the show, everybody loves free, but come on, throw your hat in the ring. Don't be a lurker. You can't lurk your whole life. You know? Yes, Chaka is awesome. What's up, Upstate Rick? Yes, you're coming on the walking tour. I'm excited about the walking tour that's coming up. I really am. The first one is heading out, which we're talking about on the Patreon page. It's not going to be a mob of people. We're probably going to do 6, 7, 8 people, and we're going to practice proper social distancing and blah, 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 and all that. But really looking forward to seeing everybody and walking the streets of New York and talking about music and film with everybody. I haven't been on Patreon in a while, and I'm at the 25 tier. Yeah, well, you know what? That qualifies you to do a 10 questions if you want to do it, man. Come on. Let's get it on. Us PayPal are not savvy. Yeah. Don't be a mooch. A mooch. A moocher. Don't be a smooch. Also, I want to mention something else that's about to happen. Let me clear the deck here. Let me clear the deck of all this crapola. Don't be a mooch. Don't be a mooch. Be a smooch. Hold on. Okay. I'm about to launch a New York Hardcore Chronicles live merch page. Some of the great items that we will be offering are the New York Hardcore Chronicles phone case, the blanket, the New York Hardcore mug, the New York Hardcore Chronicles live sweatshirt. There's girl leggings. There's a shower curtain. Some really different stuff. Look, everybody makes the shirts and everybody makes the hats. We're doing something different here. We got a comforter. We got you see the big New York Hardcore shower curtain. For those that just have to shower with the New York Hardcore logo, there it is. The logo is designed by tattoo artist Stephen Huey from Fly Right Tattoo. And there's socks. There's a pillow. This is the initial line that's being launched. There's much more to come. There's other cool shit, but this is what we're going to start with. So that's going to be going online in the next, probably within the next week. So there you go. For those that have to have the mug or the girls' leggings or the New York Hardcore shower curtain, or if you need to prop your girl's ass up on the New York Hardcore Chronicles pillow, we have you covered. That said, will there be in your car Chronicles plush doll or New York Hardcore Chronicles flamethrower? Yes, we're working on the New York Hardcore Chronicles flame. You want the shower curtain? The shower curtain's gangster, man. Yes, we're gonna ship to Europe the whole bit. We're just finalizing it now. We're just getting it, real tight. No plush doll, no flamethrower. Yeah. The New York Hardcore Chronicles condoms. Okay, Joseph, we'll look into that. No face mask. You know what? We decided not to do the face masks. Trying to do some different stuff. Vinny Doak, how you feeling, brother? We miss you, man. I hope you're feeling okay, buddy. Yeah, the merch is cool. We'll get it going. Some leggings. Listen, the leggings are for girls, but you guys can squeeze, into those leggings too. I know a lot of you guys out there like to wear girls' clothes And that's why the leggings are available for you too as well. The shower curtain is mine. Yep, there you go. Listen, everybody needs a blanket, Lorette, in France. Holy mackerel, that was funny. That was funny. Extra large. Listen, all right, enough with, one last peek at the merch, considering it was just so much fun. Here we go. There's a phone case, a Samsung phone case and an iPhone case. You have to specify which one. There's a comforter. There's a mug. There's both the New York Hardcore logo mug and the New York Hardcore Chronicles live mug. There's a tote bag. There's a pillow. There's socks. There's a tank top for all you thugs, and then there's the girls' leggings. So that's going to be getting launched really soon. So that said, let's keep it moving. Let's bring on. Hey, Dean, are you out there? Are you going to join us, Dean? Yeah, the chair cushion's cool, May, for sure. What's with the plush doll? Wait, hold on. God, everybody's going off on the merch. What's with the skate deck? Yeah, a flamethrower. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live flamethrower. Yes. Being you live in New York City where anything goes. There you go. You know what I need? Like, we need the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, like 007 blade to protect yourself in New York City. Yeah, I see those leggings in action too. Absolutely. Yep. Figured, yeah, gotta get stuff up there for the gals, That said, enough of me talking about me. Let's hear you talk about me. Let's get it moving. Let's bring on, listen, we're super excited. It's the world premiere of the Rap Bones video by No Redeeming Social Value. Let's bring on Dean and see what's happening. Brother.
Hey, Drew. What's up, pal?
Was that a how or was that a live long and prosper you just gave?
Nice to see you, brother.
Nice to see you, buddy. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Enjoying the show today. Put me down for 2 shower curtains and a comforter and a pillow.
To prop your girl's ass up on.
Yeah. Oh, put me down for 2 pillows then. Giant ass.
The funny thing is when all this stuff is in the description of the merchandise, like like when you go to the pillow, it says, "Yo, rep that shit. Prop your girl's ass up. Here's a pillow. Prop your girl's ass."
Hey, it's the sex sells, Drew. You know that.
Dean Clean. Here we go.
I'm on the show today.
It's the Dean Clean sex machine. What's happening?
Doing good, man. I'm enjoying the show. Thank you for having me on again.
Listen, the show loves you, bro.
Oh, thanks, man. I love the show. It's great. I really do. I love to see all the people coming in and saying their stuff, they're saying their comments and stuff. It's a nice community that you put together here, and we're very lucky to have you doing that.
Well, it's our community, and you're a big part of it. Before we bring on Rap Bones and kind of get into it and show the video, just give us a quick bit about the new record and what's happening and where it's available.
Okay, the new record is called Wasted for Life. You can see it over here. It's on Dead City Records. It's available through deadcityrecords.com in the United States. It's on all the streaming platforms around the world, Spotify, all the other ones, whatever they are. It's also available through Reality Records in Europe. We have our single available on Pitchfork Hardware, New York. We're very proud of the record. Everybody has been giving us great feedback on it. Anybody that's gotten it so far has literally unprompted giving us very, very positive feedback. So we're really happy that everybody's enjoying it. That's great. And, we appreciate everybody's support. It's very nice.
Listen, I love your dysfunctional band. And
Thank you.
It's always so much fun for me after all these years to work with, with bands I've never worked with and just see everybody has their own sort of version or flavor of band dysfunction. And especially the bands that have brothers in it. You know, those are really special in my book, you know.
Luckily, we all get along very well. My younger brother Kent, you know, as you know, is a guitar player.
Yep.
You know, we're all a lot to handle. I agree, and thank you for stepping in and making this video with us. You know, once again, this was your idea. We didn't prompt you. You came to us and said, "Hey guys, I got this great idea for a video," and little did you know what you were getting into when you stepped in the ring with us. So, you know, I appreciate you doing that for us, buddy. I mean, really, it came out great. I'm so pleased. I'm so proud that you asked us to do it. And yeah, we had a great time doing it, man. I mean, you know, as you said, dysfunctional. Yes, but did we get the job done? We did. So
and you guys are a great band. You really are. And you know what? You know what? I'm going to jock you for a second. You're a great front man.
Oh, thanks, Drew.
No, you are. You are. You're a great front man, dude.
I learned it by watching the best of them. So I'm just stealing cues from everybody else. Thank you.
Go. So let's bring on the subject matter of the video and the song. Let's get his take and hype him up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, from the family of Rat Bones. What's up?
Yo, Rat Bones.
What's that, man? Is that champagne? Is that champagne?
It's toasted up.
Wow.
Yeah, man, it's the big day, man. The big premiere. We're all going to help each other out over here.
And that's the good stuff, man. He broke out the good stuff for us. That's very sweet.
That's exciting.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. You know, you tried to show me a little clip earlier. I don't want to see it. I want to see it with the rest of the world. You know, I mean, it's great that it's about me, and I didn't have anything to do with it for once. Like, thank you. You know,
let's bring Scondotto back on. Hey, Scondotto.
It's like surfacing to the surface, you know?
Yeah.
You're just on sometimes, and it's my time, kid. Thanks, guys.
Listen, you know, as far as like the video goes, like sometimes like I do videos now. If I'm retired from the music from the video world, I don't do music videos anymore. As sort of, I just don't. But once in a while, if there's a song that inspires me, I will do it. And this song, as soon as I heard it, was like, it inspired me. And I thought, you know what? That's whatever. Believe me, Dean, I knew, you know, abandon all hope, ye who enters here. You know,
It's so true. Listen, man, we when you know, making this video was a lot of fun, no doubt. We're glad that we got to do it for this particular song because I've known Rat Bones for probably the better part of 30 years now, or something like that. Rabies introduced us. So Mark was talking about Rabies earlier, and yes, Rabies introduced Rat Bones to me at the Wetlands back in the day, and never did I think that this many years later we'd be writing a song about him and making a video about him. And if you know Rat Bones, you know the dude has come a long way. And the first thing when he said, "Hey man, you're gonna make a song about me?" That's cool. He didn't believe me at first, but I said, "Yeah, dude, we're writing a song about you." He's like, "Look, man, you know what to leave out of that song, and you know we got to keep it clean, man." He's like, "I got a family now." I'm like, "Yeah, no problem, brother. I got you. I got you. I'll do you right."
You kept me lurking. You kept me lurking in there. It's all good.
Yeah. All right. So let's do this. Let's play the video. I want to say to everybody out there, I hope the video plays okay. This is the world premiere of it. You know, with the fucking internet and the bullshit, and you know, it might be a little weird. It might lag or go out of whatever it is. You'll get the idea of it. It's also premiering at. I think it actually already premiered, I think, a couple minutes ago. What's that site, Dean? Worldwide Hardcore Worldwide? It's
hardcoreworldwide.com. You know, they have a Facebook page. They have all the social media joints going on. Yeah, you could see it there. It went live with them at 4 p.m.
Fuck them. You can't see it there. We're playing it on here right now. This is it.
Right now, the world premiere is here.
This is it. I'm gonna get you. I'll bring you guys back on after it. Okay. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. World premiere, no redeeming social value. Rat Bones video. Let me Be patient. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom.
It's all good. Rackbones! 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 Hanging on the corner, watching you walk by, creeping in the dark, full of hardcore pride, dancing in the pit, it's what he's all about. Slamming to the beat, so let me hear you shout. Rackbones! 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 You know his face, you know that he knows you. You have seen his fist on the bottom of his boot. Getting in the shows, he don't wait online. Dancing his whole life, retired in his prime. Old school blood, NYHC, he's a maniac, diving off the balcony, flying across the stage, spit some hardcore rage, diving on your head, Freddie Madball said, Rackbones, Rackbones, Rackbones.
That goes to hit me in the eye, you fuck. See, he broke his thumb, there you go.
There you have it. Hold on, let me there you have it. It is the, no, you know what? Let's do it again. Hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let me do it right. Let me do it right. Let me do it right. One more time. It's the Rapo. It's the no redeeming value. No redeeming social value. World premiere. Rapo's video. One more time.
It's all good. Rackbones! 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 Hanging on the corner, watching you walk by, creeping in the dark, full of hardcore pride, dancing in the pit, it's what he's all about. Slamming to the beat, so let me hear you shout. Rackbones! 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 You know his face, you know that he knows you. You have seen his fist on the bottom of his boot. Getting in the shows, he don't wait online. Dancing his whole life, retired in his prime. Old school blood, NYHC, he's a maniac, diving off the balcony, flying across the stage, spit some hardcore rage, diving on your head, Freddie Madball said, Rackbones, Rackbones, Rackbones.
That goes to hit me in the eye, you fuck. See, he broke his thumb, there you go.
Well, there you have it. Let me get rid of all this. There you have it. World premiere of the Rapones video.
Oh,
Rapones, Dean, Scondotto. What's happening?
That's pretty dope.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yo, I gotta say, not to be outdone, I got a new Rackbones truck coming out. I know. No, that was awesome, guys. Yo,
Hey,
loved it.
Dean, question
Yes.
from upstate Rick. Who's in the chicken suit at 100 degrees?
The chicken, he was born that way. That's no suit. How dare you?
You know what my favorite shot is? Where you have the beer, you're feeding him beer, and you're singing it. This is awesome.
I'm used to stuff like that, yeah.
It's great, man. It's a great video, and it's
Thank
exactly, the VMAs, here we come.
Yeah, man, big time now. You're going to see Rackbones on the red carpet any day now.
You know what? Fuck you know what? Fuck them. Fuck the VMAs. I don't want their reward. Fuck them. Fuck MTV. I'm not, you know what? I'm going to have You know, Larry the Hunter, you accept the award for me. I can't be bothered with this.
It was a lot of fun making it, man. I hope everybody enjoys it. And, you know, of course, as always, we want to know everybody's reaction and opinion to it. So, you know, good, bad, and ugly.
Hey, Mark, you have a bit of a history with Dean, and how long you guys known each other?
Oh, what would you say, Dean? About 25 years?
Yeah, I would say about that.
Yeah. Hardcore sibling, you know, rivalry now. But Kent and Dean, I think Striving for Togetherness, Kevin Gill, shout out to Kevin Gill. I think he's the one that introduced us originally. No Redeeming was like the most entertaining. They still are the most entertaining hardcore band, man. They were so much fun going to see them and playing. And then I can remember our record release show at Castle Heights for Striving for Togetherness for that EP. You guys played our record release show.
Yeah, that's right.
And you came out in tuxedos.
Castle Fight.
Well, for a special occasion, we have to dress to the nines, you know.
Yeah. And I remember, they covered our song Decide for a while. I would jump up on their set sometimes and play with them. Couple different shows. I remember that club Acme Underground had a show with you guys in Fahrenheit, and I jumped up and did Decide.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but we've been friends for a long time, man. I came back into town, I remember years ago, came to see them when they played in Brooklyn. Just, you know, the love never dies. I saw Kent at the Rabies tribute, you know, always great guys.
Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that, brother. We love you, man. We miss you up here in New York, pal. We've been friends with Shutdown and those guys for a long time. We were lucky enough to meet them when they had that demo tape out, and they were passing that stuff around. And then we shared the same record label as them, Striving for Togetherness Records. And, we ran in the same circles for many years with those cats. We went on tour. We did a European tour back when our record first came out. And we were covering the song from the Shutdown demo. We were covering the song Decide. And we played that all throughout Europe for 30 plus dates or whatever the heck it was. And that became like a staple of our set. Yeah, I still remember that song. And I don't remember my own songs. So there you go.
Here, I got a photo of you guys. Why don't you explain what's happening here, Mark?
Oh, that was from 2012. Shout out to Cousin Joe, Black and Blue Productions. That was from the first Rabies tribute in 2012. That Todd, if you actually look in the background, you see Todd Hamilton, Jay, and Todd Youth behind us.
Oh, wow.
And we actually, right over Stigma's shoulder is Todd Youth. And we actually rehearsed, not in this picture, but also were Toby from H2O and Mike from District 9. And everybody in this picture, plus Toby and Mike, we got up and we each did a song back in 2012 and at the Black and Blue Bowl. And I think that was the one where Rancid headlined, if I'm not mistaken. And it was really, really awesome. This picture, this night, so many laughs that night. I remember afterwards, Dean and Kent and myself and Mike went to someplace locally just to hang out and shoot the shit for hours after this. And we just hung out like all night talking, if you remember that, Dean.
Yes, I do. I remember very well, actually. We went to the bar down the street there and we just hung out for hours and hours, drinking and just talking and yeah, man, catching up. It was great, dude. It was really a lot of fun. I mean, that was a great time we had. We did that. We did the Rabies tribute there at the Black and Blue Bowl, and then we joined you guys again to do it in Tompkins Square Park a few years later. Yep. That was great too. Me and Mark and Rat Bones, all good friends of Rabies from back in the day, and to be able to tribute him, that was an honor for me personally to do that. Yeah,
There's a shot of Dean from 2012, and Drew, we got to find the photo, not on this show, but he came out in the construction gloves for that show in 2012. Sure. And somebody got a shot. I want to say somebody on Facebook that I'm friends with, somebody has a great shot of Dean singing the Warzone song with the construction gloves on. And it looks exactly like Rabies. Like the ghost of Rabies was in Dean in this picture. Dean, I don't know if you know the picture I'm talking about, but
yeah, there was a couple of the construction gloves thing was like a thing. I remember being
it was a thing.
That's like a thing, man. I wear the construction gloves in honor of Rabies. I like to carry on that tradition that he used to do. I remember being at that show, Mark, and me and Toby from H2O were standing next to each other on the stage, and he looks over at me. He's like, "Man, I got fucking goosebumps right now. I'm telling
too.
you, I'm serious.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
this is giving me the fucking chills right now.
That's it. You know, and it's funny because
cracking up.
right next to Toby was CM Punk, the wrestler. And,
Okay.
you know, he kind of gave me this look like, kind of like, you know, like what's about to go down. And Toby looked at him and he's like, I remember him saying about the goosebumps, you know, and then one after the other, that show. Yeah, totally. From first song to the end of the set. Vinny actually sang As One, if you remember. Rest in peace. To Vinny
That's
Value.
right. That's right.
There's a great video of it on YouTube for Vinny singing As One. That actually in itself gives me goosebumps.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rest in peace to Vinny.
Yes.
So, Rat Bones, what's going to happen when people recognize you out in the street now? I mean, what's gonna happen here now, bro? I mean, first off, I just want to say I appreciate the time you've been on the show. I know you're going to go supernova now, but maybe you could pull us up with you a little bit.
I'm a regular guy, but you know, I will pull out like a Rat Bones action figure for sale or something. Like, all right, you know, get them all, collect them all, the Rat Bones. So we're ready. We're ready for the overflow. You know?
I like the guy. I like the guy in the chat room. Wait, he said, "Drew, did you direct that?" Yes. Listen, bro. Who the fuck else do you think could handle this kind of shit other than me? Seriously.
You were pro the whole time, Drew. We tried to throw you, but you were pro for sure, man. You held it down.
Listen, it takes a lot to phase me when it comes to this shit. You know, like I've done 100 videos in my career, you know, from this to that, and from Timbuktu to Brooklyn, New York, and everywhere in between. So when I say, hey, I want to do your video, it's not about the money. I want to do it. Believe me, I'm accepting my fate. So,
and we appreciate you, bro. We couldn't.
I know you do, man. I know
man.
You guys do, and I enjoyed working with you. And you know what? The video came out as great as I knew it would when I decided. I had that. The whole thing was in my head already when I said, "Let's do it." Plus, it's a minute and 27 seconds. So, any of you bands out there, if you're going to ask me to do your video, make sure it's about a minute and 27 seconds.
Under 2 minutes.
Yeah, right. Under 2 minutes. Yeah, that helps.
Over 2 minutes, it's not going to be a hit. So you got to shave it down, boys.
Isn't that what they told the Beatles? Like, she's what was the? Yeah, I want to hold your hand. I think it's like a minute and a half or something. And they used to speak.
I gotta say, Drew, about the video. I know you guys because I know you and the songs about me. It's awesome, but it's done with passion, like your father just said. We do everything with passion, and it was done with love. And you know, it's still a hard song, but it came off really cool, man. I really appreciate it, you know. And thanks everybody for the support. You know, we got big coming, all of us. You know, I like the one thing I learned from your father. What he said today was that I put in 35, almost 40 years invested into the trouble of building up what now I can produce at this age and still be in my prime. It's pretty tight. Well, it does go deeper than just, you know. Hardcore, man. We got passion. We're gonna make it. We're gonna be big. We're gonna do it. That's cool. So
everybody's a star, baby.
You didn't write no song for no reason. I'm gonna back up that song for the rest of my life.
You know what?
All the words are true.
Now, Dean, we could use that as his intro when he comes on the show.
Sure, that's awesome. Great, man. Great. And we kept it clean. No curse words. Nothing like that. You know.
Straight to the dark side. Let those kids of today figure out what the dark side's all about on their own. I'm done schooling. You know? Let them figure that out. We know. We've been there. We're survivors, you know?
Rat Bones has always been positive since the day that I met him, man. The journey has been long for both of us, for all of us. And great dude, man. So honored to be able to write a song about him.
Here's a photo that Steven Messina just sent us. I guess there's you guys doing your thing, and Rat Bones getting ready to put the hurt on somebody.
Oh, no doubt. I think he fucking knocked me on my ass there, and fucking I'm laying on my back, and Todd Youth is playing guitar looking down at me, and he's like, what the fuck? And I'm just looking up at Todd Youth as I'm laying on my back, and he stopped playing guitar to come and pick me up. I'm like, go figure. Fucking first intro to the song, Rat Bones knocks me out. Go figure.
Unbelievable.
That's funny. At least it was what they say.
Cool. Hey, so there you go. That's the Rat Bones video. We'll play it again at the end of the show. But
Thank you.
You know, thanks for coming on, Dean, and
thank you, Drew. Thank you, Rat Bones. Thank you, Mark. Good to see you
Good
guys.
seeing you, Dean.
I gotta say, for once I was in a video and I didn't end up on the cutting room floor.
Listen,
You're the star, baby. You're the star, Rat Bones.
Hey, perseverance pays off, Rat Bones. You know that.
No doubt. We're in it for the long haul.
All right, I'll see you guys at the end of the show, Rat Bones.
Right on.
Man.
All right.
Peace.
Well, there you go, Scondotto. That was cool, huh?
Yeah, super cool, man. Super cool.
Hey, so hang with me a minute.
Sure.
I'm gonna shout out some sponsors. Then we're gonna come back and we're gonna take some questions. Okay?
I look forward.
There you go. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, the Texas Silver Rush, and Your Core fan page. Hope everybody is okay in the chat room worldwide. Thank you, Dominic. It was a lot of fun to do the Rat Bones video. You know, we'll see. Hey, Gina, I hope you're well. Yes, he's got his own theme music now. What can you say? That said, when we come back, please, any questions that you have for Mark Scondotto from Shutdown, post up some questions or some memories. I know we got a lot of people in the chat room today from Castle Fights, from that era, Joe James and Lenny and a lot of people. Any Castle Heights memories are welcome here. But maybe one of these days we'll do a Castle Heights reunion show. That would be kind of cool. Rat, no autographs, Bones. Hey, what's his name? Ringo Starr stopped doing autographs. I think he's in his 80s. He said, "That's it. I'm done." What did I just see? Someone just say, "Who was the cameraman?" Me. I shot the friggin' thing. No. Was Paris the cameraman on the Rat Bones video? No, I have not worked with Paris Mayhew since 1995. I think the last video that I did with Paris Mayhew was the Insane Clown Posse chicken hunting. So me and Paris had a nice run together, but that ended around, I think, 95 or 96. I have not worked with him in many years. I've been directing ever since our split. So there you go. Yeah, Castle reunion show. There you go. What else we got there? Like I said, any questions posted? Oh, I'm sorry. That reminds me. A couple other shows that are coming up. Let me get this stuff off the. Let me get this stuff out of here. I'm sorry. Yeah, let me get all this stuff out of here. I want to post up a couple of things. Hey, did you take care of that thing? Or better yet, hey, you know that thing? Don't worry about it tonight. Don't worry about it. What's that from, Lenny? With Murray. You know that thing with Murray tonight? Don't worry about it. That said, a couple shows coming up that you may not know about that have been recently announced. Here's one right here. This is Chris Wren, Sunday, October 11th, episode number 67. Chris Wren from Bridge 9 Records and Sully's Merchandise. Chris Wren is a great guy, is been involved with many, many, many bands and has done a lot for the American hardcore scene. So we got Chris Wren, who is a beloved figure, a Boston guy, coming on the show. Lots to talk about with Chris. I like Chris a lot. And then, of course, if you haven't heard, now you heard, the Machine himself, Armand from Sick of It All, is coming on the show. We're breaking out the big guns here. This should be great. Looking forward to having Armand on the show. So that should be cool. Yes, it's good, fellas. Absolutely. Yes. Michael Gibbons. Hey, Michael, if you want to do 10 questions, reach out to me. Come up to my neighborhood or go into the park and do it. I'd love to do it with you. Yes, the Machine. As Igor says, the Machine. Murray. Murray was a pain in the ass. Yep. Enough Murray. You know, Murray's wigs. You know? Yeah. Yeah, May. Hey May, you have to come on the People's episode. We want you to come on. Yes, Armand. That's right. Yep. It's happening. Finally some sex talk. What sex talk? Was I talking sex? What sex was I talking? What else? Okay, good. Karen. All right, let's not be kooky. Questions. At home, he has the framed. What? At home, he has a framed thing from an award the ICP video got, as far as I remember. He showed it once. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I got a gold record for the Insane Clown Posse for the video that I produced. Yes. That said, am I covering everything? Just real quick, for those that are not hip to the Patreon thing, please, I want to shout out a couple of my new Patreons: Slimy Slim, Daniel Latouche, Mike Marino, David Schaefer, Gregory Ivany, Little Freeman, what's up, brother, and Felix. These are my newest patrons. These are the people that support the show. These are the people that decided to stop lurking and actually support the show. So please, don't be a lurker. Jump right in and get involved. Support the show. What else am I forgetting here? This is my big chance, you know? Oh, the new Antidote New York Hardcore on Instagram. If you have one of these communication devices on Instagram, follow Antidote_New York Hardcore. That is our Antidote page. Go check that out. Please join the page. That's where you can keep up with our end of the Antidote thing. What else? Patreon thing, shows coming up. We're good, man. I covered a lot. Christine Cambria's artwork behind me. If you're wondering, I know some of you are big fans of Christine's artwork. Check out her work at Instagram at @CCambria, and her website is www.sincerelyjoy.com. That is Christine Cambria's artwork. It is really incredible. Go check it out. Drew, is there a film that you really like but would be embarrassed to admit? I don't know. I'd be embarrassed to admit. Let's think. I don't know if I'd be embarrassed to admit it in this day and age. I think Saturday Night Fever is a great film. I think it's a great slice of New York history. I enjoy the film Saturday Night Fever a lot. I think it's really great. What film would I be embarrassed? Not really. Almost Famous is one of my favorite films. The Shawshank Redemption is one of my favorite films. All the usual stuff. I'm a big fan of Apocalypse Now, The Godfather 1 and 2, Casino, Jaws. I'm a big Steven Spielberg fan. I love his stuff. The Road Warrior. Nothing Pink. I don't really, Pink Flamingos and stuff like that. That's not like my thing. You know what I mean? Like people eating duty and stuff like that. People eating poo-poo. Like that's not really, Sex in the City, the movie. Yeah, not really, man. 16 Candles. I'm not mad at 16 Candles or The Breakfast Club. I don't Pretty in Pink. I mean, those were all right. I mean, those didn't, I don't have some like crazy passion for them or anything. I watch a lot of documentaries as a documentary filmmaker. I watch a lot of documentaries. I'm always watching something. There's always something on pause. That's sort of part of my life. I'm always watching, so I'm a big Yes. Oh, Valhalla. You saw Valhalla. I told you, right? Brutal film, but really different kind of film. Really good, really great film. I just watched Apocalypse Now the other day, a new cut of it, a new director's cut. Listen, Apocalypse Now is a masterpiece. Okay? There you go. Gigi Allen never complained about eating poo-poo. Well, Gigi Allen, the Black Stallion. Yes, you got me, Michael Lombardi. The Black Stallion, it's my favorite film of all time. Beaches. Good one. All right, listen. This isn't the Drew Stone show. You know, let's get back. Let's get it back here. It's nice to Patreon. So there you go. Let me get these banners off. Let's bring our guests back on. Let's take some questions. Let's get some questions up for Mark Scondotto. We should just do a movie show. Drugstore Cowboy. Ooh, that film. Ooh. I don't like watching films with a lot of drugs in them. Like, I don't like that. Okay. Let me see. Questions for Scondotto. Here we go. Hey, buddy.
What's going on?
Sorry, man. I sort of went off on a tangent there.
No, I like it. I was listening. I like all those movies.
Yeah.
We listened to Apocalypse Now. True story. We were on tour in a van driving. We had to drive from LA to New York. We flew back from Japan the second time and had to start a tour in New York, but the booking agent flew us back to LAX. And I remember our tour driver was listening to the audio version of Apocalypse Now in the middle of the night. And we all like woke up like, what the hell are you listening to? And he was just like, man, it's our friend Butch. He was like, this is the greatest movie you've never seen. And that's kind of how I got into Apocalypse Now. Yeah,
it's a masterpiece. I mean, and it's incredible how that film was panned. You know, it was panned when it first came on. Hey, speaking of which, hold on a second. Let's hold on. Let's get crazy here. Hold on. Hey, Dad, how you doing?
I just woke up.
You took a nap in the middle of the show?
No, I watched it. I'm just kidding.
Tell us.
Great show.
Give us your thoughts on Apocalypse Now, Dad.
On who?
Apocalypse Now.
You know, the strange thing is I'm not hearing you.
Apocalypse Now. Hold on. Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now, the movie? Francis Ford Coppola, the Vietnam movie. No? I don't feel strong about it. All right.
He's out.
All right, Dan. How about this one? How about The Godfather?
The Godfather. I tell you, I don't know if anybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody? I think The Godfather is the best movie, 1 and 2, that I've ever seen, all of them. Besides that, is the film Citizen Kane. I don't know if anyone has seen it. At one time, it was done in 1939 by Orson Welles, who was about 25 years old at the time. And it revolutionized film at that point. He used angles and things that nobody used before. It's an incredible film that's been lost. It was done in 1939. Directed by? Say it again.
Directed by? Who directed it?
Orson Welles directed it. He was 25 years old.
Yep.
And he ate Hearst. The family had owned Hearst at the time. And when they saw the film, they destroyed his career after that because of the film. And he ended up, like a lot of filmmakers at the end, doing voiceover commercials. But he was a giant. That and Godfather 1 and 2, I think, were the best films I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, and there's some people that we have Drew's stepson and girlfriend. They're in the film business, and young people. I don't blame them. I guess they don't want to look back and see the greats of the past. It's focused on now, but I really think they should take a look what was done and what is now, and the genius of how they did it with the equipment they had was incredible. If someone saw a camera shot in color in 1939, the camera was the size of a room in order to move the camera, and that's why people in front of the camera sometimes look static. If you had to change the angle, you had to change the lighting and the equipment. Anyway, that's a whole other story.
All right, Pop.
Look, after this now, of course I love that film. Of course I love that film. It was great, Brando, but it's not in my wheelbase as one of the great films that I don't rank it with Godfather personally.
All right, Pop. I'll see you in a bit.
You got it.
Hey, I'm sorry.
It's all good, man.
We veered off again. Here's a question from Lenny from Crazy Eddie. Will Turning the Tide ever see the light of day on streaming? And do you remember the session? Me and a couple other people were stoned as fuck, and we were doing backup vocals and couldn't stop giggling for about an hour and a half, and it took us forever to get through 10 lines of backups. Do you remember this, Mark?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. There's very little I don't remember from that era, which is a blessing, to be honest with you. Lenny's awesome. What up, Lenny? All the Fahrenheit guys, NRSV. It was a big family. SFT was a big family back then. District 9. There was very few times where guys like District 9, Mike and Lenny and Todd were in the room and they weren't stoned, which was fine. It was funny as hell. And it was just funny. I think the aspect now of us being straight edge at the time and like not giving a fuck, just hanging out with like these dudes. Like it wasn't about judging people for the way they lived their lives. It was just about everybody coming together in one room, doing what they love for hardcore, which is still what this band is about, to this day. But yeah, for sure. I totally remember that. As far as streaming, I would love to have that stuff streaming. I got to talk to Kevin Gill about that.
Huh. What is this?
Mark
is a true irate, broke your edge. We definitely took credit for it.
No, irate. What's up, Phil? Phil is like a brother to me. Shout out to Phil and all the irate guys. We spent a lot of good times with them. My brother Kevin, when he managed us, he managed irate. We did a lot of weekend trips with them all over the place, Albany, the Northeast. They're just good friends. Phil's got a new band, Knights of the Black Table, I believe, and check them out. Love you, Phil. Always supported us. We always support them.
Cool. Okay, one question. Then I want to show you a couple pictures that I still have. I want to get your take on it. This is from Dory. Mark, you once said that Suicidal Tendencies, War Inside My Head was one of your earliest influences. Who else do you think helped shape your sound?
Great question. Yeah, Suicidal before even hardcore was something that I don't know why I really, really got into them. Like 10, 11 years old. Mike had shown me everything, of course. War Inside My Head was just a song that stuck and it just like resonated with me. I loved it. And as far as my personal vocal style, I mean, when I was that young, I really was just about screaming to the top of my lungs. There was no thought to it, to be honest with you. And then as the band evolved and I met people like Jimmy Gestapo and Roger, there is a natural way to kind of scream from your stomach and not from your throat. And really that was just so I didn't lose my voice when we toured so much. But it began to develop my own vocal style where it was just, yes, it was high pitched. I hear a lot of new hardcore bands now, and it's funny because they all have high pitched singers. Back then, it was like I caught a lot of shit for that. People thought I was too young, and other people loved it because it was unique, But it was really kind of just get out there, hardcore, punk rock, do your thing, scream, not really care what people think, how you sound, and just kind of go for it.
Absolutely. Did Shutdown ever play at a Bond Street Cafe?
No. I went to a show with Mike when I was 14 at Bond Street in the summer. Confusion played. There's a video. I'm on stage. Again, I'm not a tall guy, but at that time I was super short. I probably looked like I was 11, and I was on stage with my bandana that Mike always put on me when I went to a show. And kind of like, it was always the big finale. At the end of Confusion set, they would let me stage dive. And it was like my favorite thing to do. It happened like the first 2 or 3 shows I went to with them.
I want to post a couple pictures that I have in the quiver here and get your take on them. Let me get all these banners off. Goodbye. See ya, hate to be ya. Smell you later. Okay, let me put up a couple photos and you kind of give me the, well, this one's cool. I mean, this one says it speaks for itself. I'm sorry, it's a little kind of, this is you and the Sick of It All guys, right?
Oh yeah. They're Sick of It All, Agnostic Front, Madball, probably our 3 biggest influences as a band. And really for me personally, I've been lucky enough that guys like Craig is one of my good friends. I love Craig. Craig actually convinced me to shave my head. I was telling you about that before. Lou has always been a good friend to our family. All the Scondotto brothers, especially Mike and John, when they had the comic book store, have been great friends with Lou for so many years. Armand, happy belated birthday. These guys showed us the ropes when we were really young. Pete, I remember us, Sick of It All, Ensign, and Shutdown did about 2 weeks off the Built to Last tour together. And I remember Pete, we were in Canada possibly, or maybe the Northeast, and Pete showed us how to play CeeLo, and we were all like playing for like $5 in the dressing room, and Pete was taking all our money playing CeeLo, and like these.
What year was that?
It's probably 1998, 97 maybe. It was right
funny,
on the.
We're the ones that started playing with those guys. That's
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, and then those guys, I come just like Agnostic Front, being in Miami, every time they come to Florida. Matter of fact, I saw Sick of It All with Suicidal here. I remember that show. It was a great show. But anytime they come, we get to come hang out. Like I said, Craig has been a big influence on me for many, many years. But those guys are they're hardcore royalty, man. What can I say? There's nothing to say bad about them. They're the best.
I got to ask you about this photo that you sent me with the title, "What the fuck is this?" Now, I recognize, of course, a lot of people. And the more I looked at it, the more people I recognize. But I see that Krishna guy that I used to see around in the middle of the whole thing.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Now, let me point a few people out that I see in this photo. I see, of course, up front and center. On the left is Evan Seinfeld, Freddie Madball, John Joseph. On the top on the left, and I didn't notice him until later. That's Scott Koenig, who managed Biohazard, who now manages Earth Crisis and Fear Factory, who's a good friend of mine. Next to Pete, and then Danny, and the creepy Krishna guy. And who's the girl next to him? She's very familiar to me.
They were people.
Roadrunner?
Yeah, they were people from the press that were downstairs. That show got a lot of coverage through MTV and all this other stuff. I actually think one of the girls worked for MTV, but she was part of the hardcore scene.
Yeah,
yeah.
And is that AJ Novello back there?
Yeah, that's AJ behind him. Yep,
and
that's
what
Tim
was
from
the
VOD.
Here?
This was the Hardcore for Hunger benefit at Tramps that John Joseph threw back in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah, great show. Great show. I love that picture because for some reason I look 6 feet tall in that picture. I'm like, wow, where'd that picture go?
Is that what this was? Shutdown with Ignite at Tramps, or was that a different show?
That was a different show. Yeah, we played with Ignite and H2O at Tramps.
Right.
Sold out show. I love playing. Tramps was a great place, but this Hardcore for Hunger benefit, it was an all-day show, a sweatbox. The band, it was an unbelievable lineup. I mean, you name it. Every New York hardcore band played that show. Sick of It All, Biohazard, Madball, Crown of Thorns. There's a flyer that people every year the show comes up, people repost the flyer, but it was just VOD. It was an amazing show.
Yeah. Tramps had a little run there of some great shows, man.
Definitely. Big venue, like when you could fill Tramps.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably a good, I don't know, guessing 1,500 people in that place.
Yeah, you could pack them in there too. Let me see if I got any other photos. This is one that I think is pertinent. I missed it when we were talking about Wetlands, but here's one of those great flyers from Wetlands back in the day. Yeah. Shutdown. I love, despite Giuliani, hardcore lives in New York City.
Unbelievable. I love the Wetlands. It's funny. I always say to myself, I've always been waiting to do the 10 questions. And then it's like everybody says Wetlands, CB's, Coney Island High. And I don't know that I couldn't be different and say different. But Wetlands for us was, I don't think we ever had a bad show at Wetlands. I mean, it was always a packed house, kids flipping off the side. I remember the merch booth right next to the stage. I remember hanging out downstairs in between bands. Some amazing times at Wetlands.
This is cool. Look, cause for alarms on the bill here, man.
Yeah, and Sworn Enemy, right when they started, and Death Threat, I think it might have been like their first year, and Buried Alive, of course, is Scott from Terror and all that stuff. So
yeah, that's pretty. That Wetlands flyer is stacked. Yeah,
hell yeah! I'd like to do that show today.
Here's one from our friend Brian. I saw Shutdown with Biohazard at L'Amour's Christmas 2003. Was that Shutdown's last show before the hiatus?
Yeah, I want to say yes. I don't know if that year is right. It might have been slightly before. We did a couple shows in 2003. I was already in Florida. We did a show at CBGB's. It was the Frank Collins benefit show. Frank Collins was the guitar player for Confusion. He died. He was also, I believe, a Port Authority officer, died in a motorcycle accident. He taught me guitar when I was 11 years old. Before I got into hardcore, we didn't talk about this, but I wanted to be like my brothers. Mike played bass. I wanted to learn guitar. So my parents bought me a guitar, and Frank Collins gave me guitar lessons for about 6 months. I got into hardcore. I decided screaming was better for me. And that's kind of how it happened. But, we played a CB show in 2003. And yeah, that Biohazard show kind of was the last of the hiatus. I would say, yeah, I think that was.
And then and so that said, you guys took a break for a couple years, right?
Yep.
And now you really, you're really sort of back as a functioning band. You're not doing a lot all the time, but you're open to the possibilities, right?
Yeah. One of the cool things, if there is any positive about the coronavirus, and there's not many, but one of the cool things is it really was we all have kids, we all have families, we all have careers, but this music, it runs deep in our veins, man. We love it, and being able to. It started last year. We got an offer to go to Europe to play a one show, the Sound of Revolution Festival. Martin from No Turning Back. Has a booking agency called Loud Noise. He offered to bring us over, covered our flights, we played a phenomenal show with, The Last Resort, Youth of Today, Terror. I mean, literally like 30 bands, amazing lineup, and Shelter. And we had such a great time that, it was just, it's hard, this music never leaves you. So when we play these shows, it's hard to get together in that fashion. But I mean, the next day we were talking about how fast we can get back to Europe, when we want to do another tour, now with the coronavirus, we started talking about writing new music. Dion is like a writing machine, and he sits in his garage and puts on, rolls his sleeves up and just has been writing like crazy. And that trickled now into us talking to a few labels in Europe and, looking at putting a new record out next year.
Good. Well, look, welcome back. I'm glad you guys are at it, and we all look forward to seeing you when you get out there. And want to thank you for coming on the show, man. It was a lot of fun, and I want to let me bring on the rest of our people, and as we make our way towards the door here, Stephen. Hey, Stephen,
How are you?
You know what? That you reminded me of, and we've talked about this a couple of times, and I think our people are going to get a kick out of it. Who was your father's college roommate?
At Hofstra College, a guy named Francis Ford Coppola.
I think I heard of that guy.
Yeah.
He.
That's amazing.
I'll never forget. My dad would tell us for our whole life. He would tell us stories, and they used to have an off-campus house that they would sneak girls in, because back then you couldn't have girls in the house. My dad was. This is a true story. My dad is dating a Playboy bunny.
As he's going to Hofstra College.
Oh yeah, and the attendant was coming, and they had to sneak her out the window. Him and Francis Coppola, and they accidentally dropped her, and she broke her toe. And the funny thing is, cut to years later, me and my brother in San Francisco, and I'm like, I'd met him once before as a younger man, and I'm like, I know we're gonna meet him because he's Coppola's is an Italian restaurant right in San Francisco. We kept walking by. One day, sure enough, he was just sitting outside with his laptop, and I walked right up to him, and I said, I want to just introduce myself. My name is Steve Messina, son of Charles. And he went, Charlie Messina? And immediately sat me and my brother down and started telling us all the exact stories about dropping the girl out the window. And
that's great.
And he was just
awesome,
super cool. And he actually gave us his personal, email to give my dad. They hadn't spoken in, 50 years or something.
Cool.
And I always gave my father hell for losing touch with him. I'm like, you could have been in The Godfather,
Anyway.
And but yeah,
okay.
They lived together for 2 years.
All right. Hey, Rap Bones. Hey, Dean.
Yo.
What's happening, man? Great show today. Great show
video.
Today, you guys.
Great video.
Awesome. Had a great time. Hey, Drew, before I forget, do you mind if I give my kids a little quick shout out? I have 3 kids watching on YouTube right now.
We're going to get to that. Hold on, buddy.
Nice.
Don't worry. I'm not going to forget your kids.
Oh,
right? Not going to forget your booger eating, kids. Hold on. I got a picture you sent me. Hold on. I'm trying to dig it out.
Oh, okay.
Right? You sent me a couple pictures.
Sent you a few. Just a few.
Yeah, hold on. Let me find it. Where is that picture? You sent me a bunch of them. All right, I'll find it. Hey, Dean, thanks for coming on, Dean. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mark, Steven, Rap Bones. Nice to see you guys. Thanks to everybody that tuned in, saw the video. I appreciate everybody checking it out. Thank you very much.
We'll see you soon, Dean.
Peace out.
Hey,
Superstar, what are you going to do with your time now?
you know, I'm just gonna vacation down south and
Move to Florida.
I want to put my movie out there, man. When I was young, I really dug Peter O'Toole. I think the movie was called Caligula. Was there a movie Caligula?
With Malcolm McDowell. Yeah.
I thought that was cool. And another science fiction movie I loved as a kid was, it's kind of corny. It wasn't Willow. It was Time Bandits.
It's a great movie.
I thought that was a great movie as a kid. So.
Rat Bones, I have a question for Rat Bones.
What? What you got?
I've been dying to ask this, and I think I mentioned it to Drew the other day. How and when and who gave you your name?
Yes.
You know, a lot of people are going to laugh when I say this. I left very early from home to live with my brother in Detroit, the band Halloween I always told about. When we first started, I was roadie for his band, and every house we went into, we'd live in the basement of, like, the manager, or, like, we'd all live in the basement. You put up blankets to separate your rooms and everything, right? The band house, right? And I'd always take the spot up the stairs, so they called me Rat with 2 T's. 2 years before the band, we ever hosted the band Rat. I was Rat with 2 T's. And then I came out to Jersey after I got into punk. I'll tell you real quick. I went to California. I got into GBH and all these bands from California shops. I bought a bunch of T-shirts, the Cramps, and I came back and I remember, like, my punk was clashing with their heavy metal. Like, the heavy metal band was listening to the Striper, and I was getting into the Venom and Slayer and GBH and all these crazy bands. I got kicked out of the band house, and I had moved back to New Jersey during that time in my very early stages of getting back into hardcore punk. And I lived with a band called Social Decay in Tommy Southern's skateboard ramp. I lived in his half pipe in his backyard, and everyone would party at his house. And the singer Eddie Ramos, who also is connected to Biohazard and also introduced me to Saab. I know it's a long story, but it's a tie-in. Was looking at me during practice one day, and he just looked at me. Eddie Ramos, Papo, the drummer of Social Decay, looked at me and said, "You're not Rat, you're Rat Bones." And that was it. It just stuck after that. And then
I didn't know Boppo played drums.
Yeah, he played in Social Decay, original Social Decay, DK Drunks, DK Skins, New Jersey, represent, man. Where you been?
I didn't know that.
The heyday.
Yeah. All right, Rat Bones. We'll talk to you soon, man.
But thanks for everything today, guys. The video was smashing. Mark, your story's great. I have to say to you real quick before I go that as young as you are, I was thinking 93, 13, what I had been already through by then. But your story, because New York gives it back to the younger bands like that, the way you were saying, Rabies, myself, we're always accepting 16-year-old kids and trying to put the baton down because we realize what we did is over and this generation is still doing it. So it's amazing to see that hardcore is so pure and real. And the story's good too, man. You came up around the right people, and it shows that, you know, the Scondotto name. Come on, let's
Thanks,
try. You guys are incredible, but you totally have your own flavor as in your band and everything. So I just wanted to say that to you, man. It's
Appreciate it.
Thanks for letting me be on your show, bro.
It's not my show, it's our show.
I'm kidding with you, bro.
I'll see you later, man.
My show today. I love everyone. Thanks, man.
Everyone loves you. Bye, Rat Bones. Yeah. You know, Vinny, you know, exactly. It's like, yes, you can have Rat Bones' autograph if you track him down. Steven, any shout outs, anything before you're out the door?
You know what? I just everything Rat Bones said, I love the story. And you know what you just said, I hear the influence in some of the higher voices you're talking about, like Turnstile or Knock Loose and things like that. I definitely, you know, they definitely have to a little bit of a nod, you know. And
Thanks.
I think it's, you know, it's as much as a lot of those bands are blowing up. I think that you know, they're definitely kind of standing a little bit in your shoes, you know.
Thanks so much, man. That means a lot. Those bands are great. I love both of those bands. That's a big compliment. I appreciate it.
Steven, I'll talk to you soon. Hey, we got to get. I'll talk to you. We got a new show to get together.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll talk to you in a bit.
I gotta jump on Craigslist and order my Rat Bones pinball machine now. I'll see you guys.
I'll see you later. All right, brother. That brings us to you, Scondotto. How's that, buddy?
Ah, that's a great picture, man.
Tell us about it, and thank you for coming on the show. We had a lot of fun. Tell us about this photo. Shout out who you want to shout out.
Thanks, man. First off, that's a great photo. Mike Dijon and Craig are just some of the nicest people in hardcore. I love both of those guys so much, and they've done great things. Always looked out for my family. They are like my family. So that was actually from Easter Sunday, less than a couple years ago. My awesome partner in crime, my woman Liz, made them a vegan dinner. They actually played a Cro-Mag show right around the corner from my house with I Hate God, just happened to be. And it's the most punk rock picture if you really look at it and zoom in. I have 2 kids giving the middle finger under their blankies, including my 3-year-old daughter at the time. That's my beautiful little Harley Quinn, and she's 6 now, and she's actually giving the finger in that picture. My other son, Julian, in the middle is also giving the finger. I mean, you can't get more hardcore than that. And then Carmelo is on the left. This was a couple years ago. They grow up so quick, man. So I just want to say thank you, Drew. And, I have a great family that supports me 100% behind me, more than willing to let me go back on the road next year if I want to go to Europe, to always support what I love. And I couldn't ask for a better family. So this is, my wife, Liz, and my 3 beautiful kids, Harley Quinn, Julian, and Carmelo. I think they're watching. Carmelo actually made a few comments. He just didn't realize that was my 13-year-old son. I love you guys, and I appreciate everybody in New York and worldwide that supports us. It's a special thing for me to wake up this morning. I told you, Drew, and I had literally like 24 messages in my inbox. People from Europe, the guy from Australia that I used to tour with, people from California, just like super psyched to see us today or see me on here and talk about the band. And I'm appreciative for you to provide the outlet, man. It was a great time. Seriously, I tune in every week. The Carl interview last week was awesome.
It was.
And I'm a big fan of the show, man. I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate it, and I truly, from the bottom of my heart, really appreciate the support from everyone around the world. This show didn't happen. This wasn't some big master plan here. The pandemic started. I woke up, the day after, literally the day after it started. I think it was, March 9th or something. And I figured, you know what? And I launched the show, and it's been a great success, and it's really got legs of its own. So I consider myself very fortunate, and I'm very fortunate that there's people like yourself to come on the show and mix it up. And that's what it's all about. So thanks a lot, Mark. And
thank you, guys. Thanks, everyone, for listening. I told Craig I'd give a special shout out to the Bald Committee, which is for all you hardcore guys that are balding and losing your hair, and are in a little bit of denial. There's a lot of us out there. It was me 3 years ago. Craig is the president of our committee. We're about 50 musicians strong. I have to download it soon, but they're on WhatsApp, and they try to encourage each other for male pattern baldness to convince people to start shaving their heads. So this is from my brother Craig Satari and the Bald Committee worldwide. We got members all over the country, man, all over the world, and some pretty big bands too. That's up, Craig? Great.
Thanks, Mark. I'll talk to you soon.
Great seeing you, Drew. Thank you, everyone.
My pleasure. Well, there you go, man. It's the New York Hardcore Chronicles Live, sponsored by New York Hardcore Comics, The Organic Grill, the Texas Silver Rush, Chain Reaction Records and Skateboards, and Your Core Hardcore page. I know what you're thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. Hey, Dad.
Hey.
What's for dinner?
You and I was thinking of Francis Ford Coppola. I remember sitting on 57th Street when the Godfather was done, and I knew crew members that were on the crew, and they said, this guy directing this film, and he doesn't know what he's doing. He sits around for hours trying to figure out what he's doing. It's like incredible. And I heard this for a couple of days from multiple different people, but he knew. But it's an interesting, I never forgot that one. And also on Apocalypse Now, he did the same thing. He sat there for a while, didn't know, but he knew.
Well, there's that great documentary, Heart of Darkness, about the making of Apocalypse Now.
Right.
And you really see, what a mess it was. But the Godfather thing's is a funny story, because people, they didn't think they knew what he was doing.
Right.
And, so and also, Dad, we don't got to get into
another hardcore thing. you know, it goes back to the same principle. He knew what he was doing. He had the passion for what he's doing, you know.
The next time you come on, we have to talk about you and Sylvester Stallone and sort of your history a little bit with Sylvester. Just you know, because for those that may not know, my dad was friends with Sylvester Stallone very early on in his career before Rocky, and he really had a great. Sylvester Stallone stuck with it and deserves the success he had. He really
absolutely.
Yeah. All right, Pop, I'll see you for dinner in a little while. There you go. There you go, everybody. Arnie Stone, glad got him back on the show. So that was cool. Thanks, everybody. That was a fun show. Let's see, a couple of reminders. Next show coming up is Monty Melnick, the Ramones tour manager. So we will see you on Sunday for that. That's going to be a really, really cool show. So that said, everybody around the world, thank you for your support. We'll see you soon. Do good things and good things will come to you.